Hello, happy Christmas and thanks for joining us on the show that's merry about Mapley and festive for Forest Fields. I'm Owen Shipton. Today, Christmas spirit in Stapleford. Shops and businesses have donated food for anybody who needs some extra help for the big day.
We collect food from supermarkets and we get it to those people that can make use of it. Saves it all going to landfill, saves it being wasted, and obviously it helps people out that may otherwise have not had as much food as we can get to them.
This Worksop family faced the saddest of Christmases when thieves stole all of their presents. Now the founder of a St Anne's Charities delivered gifts to their door, giving them something to celebrate this year. Also on the way, when Delilah the sausage dog was found abandoned and taken to the RSPCA in Radcliffe, she could barely walk. Now she's been nursed back to health and has even started running. And we'll get you ready for some festive football. All Forest fans want for Christmas is 3 points at Middlesbrough. You'll hear from Reds head coach Steve Cooper.
We've got a good squad, they've always had a good squad, there's no doubt about that, and at the moment they're playing good, but so are we.
First though, more than 4,000 people have caught COVID in Nottingham in the last week. City Council figures show there have also been more than 1,000 cases in Broxtowe, in Gedling, in Rushcliffe and in Newark and Sherwood. The data also tells us who's most likely to be catching the virus. The highest rates of infection are for under 30s in our area. People in their 70s and 80s make up just 1% of cases. Women are also slightly more likely to test positive than men. 53% of cases were women. This year's been challenging in many ways for care workers in our county. Health and care services have increasingly felt the pressure of COVID. They've been working endlessly and selflessly to save lives while also risking their own. Their efforts have been a lifeline for us all. The leader of Nottinghamshire County Council has been paying tribute to them in this Christmas message.
Giving residents in our care homes the best possible care and compassion, and supporting voluntary and community groups that have been a lifeline for so many. Care for the most vulnerable people is often 24 hours, and it certainly doesn't stop just because it's Christmas time. So I want to pay particular tribute to all of you who are working over the festive period for your tireless commitment and dedication. I know just how challenging it is for you right now, so I want to use this opportunity to appeal to everyone out there to do two things to help our care workers. Number one, please go and get vaccinated, get your booster jabs. That's the best way you can protect yourself and others and reduce the risk of getting seriously ill if you become infected. Number two, if you know of someone in your community who's alone or vulnerable, who's isolating due to the recent spread of the Omicron variant, look out for them this Christmas and offer them any help that you can in a COVID-safe way to see them through the isolation. It's because of the sacrifices of our care workers that the most vulnerable people in Nottinghamshire can also enjoy the kind of Christmas that we all often take for granted. Whatever the weather, whatever's happening in your lives, I know you're there for those who need you, and I hope that you too will get some time with your loved ones to enjoy the festive holiday.
Now, as wonderful as Christmas is, it can be tremendously stressful. 3 in 10 Brits say they are currently stressed about the big day, according to a YouGov poll. Parents of young kids are feeling the festive strain the most. Now, we want to make you feel a little less stressed and a bit more blessed today, so we're turning for advice to counsellor and psychotherapist Lena Mukherjee from the Arboretum. Thanks for joining us, Lena. Looking very festive. You don't look like you're feeling stressed.
No, I don't. Who's this nutter wearing tinsel round her head? Oh no, I love Christmas time, Owen, and I think that piece you've just shown is so vital to remember all people in community, both at work and those who've been cared for. Brilliant.
People feel stress for lots of different reasons, but I think a lot of it is the expectation, isn't it? So what do we do? Do we lower our expectations? How do we make sure that the pressure doesn't get to us?
I think that's a really good question and a really tough challenge, because when you've got the telly adverts telling you one thing and then the children's friends saying, but they've had this and I want this. I guess it's about taking a step back, being realistic and saying, you know what, this is what I can afford, rather than setting yourself up to then feel so stressed that you can't meet the expectations. So it's about, standing back and being realistic with what your means are and letting your kids know this is what is possible.
Another thing I think is that we've spent so long isolated. It's for a lot of people, this will be the first time they've spent this much time with this number of people. That's going to be strange, isn't it? I know I would probably feel anxious walking into a room full of that many people. How do we deal with that?
I think the same as I've always said throughout the whole time we've been sort of meeting, Owen, during the pandemic, that it's be aware of how you're feeling, step back, slow down, and be mindful that you may need a breather when you're in contact with lots of people. You need your space anyway, because we don't want to pass anything on. be kind to yourself. So little and often. So perhaps meet up for half an hour and then step outside, come back in. If titrating your experience will make things a lot easier. Otherwise it's overwhelming, which is what you want to prevent happening, because that's not nice to feel that at Christmas. So little and often.
Yeah. Little and often. The people who are stressed the most, it would seem, are parents, and specifically parents of younger kids. I think it's the 5 to 11-year-olds in this YouGov research that their parents are the most stressed, and then the parents of the teenagers are a little less stressed. How do we speak to kids about Christmas, and how do we explain to children that this one maybe won't be the same as the ones they remember from before the pandemic?
I think you just said it. Be honest with them and explain this is the reality, that we're here, that we're alive, we are enjoying each other together, and actually being appreciative for what we've got, because we have a lot. And I think it's that, and letting them know that it's not all about giving you what you want. It's about actually enjoying what we have and being grateful and having gratitude. But talk to them, share with them, tell them the reality rather than giving them a fantasy of that's really hard to meet. So have that conversation, definitely.
And as much as many people are getting the opportunity to celebrate with their family, you only need to log onto social media at the moment to see the number of people testing positive in the last week, the last 5 days. Many of those facing Christmas alone now, or with a small number of people.
Yes.
How do you recommend that they don't get bogged down in a solitary, lonely Christmas day?
Yeah.
I'm making it sound dreadful, aren't I?
But no, you're not. I think you're being honest. I mean, that's what I love about your show. It's voicing the reality as is, and yes, it is hard, and you're having to isolate, and it is a bummer. But well, like I said, every time again, like we've met, is make contact with 2 or 3 others to connect in over Christmas, whether it's Christmas Day, Boxing Day. But you've got something organised, even a 5-minute phone call to check in, and that can make a difference, because you've got a structure to your day rather than it just letting you be a void and distressing. So take the initiative, 2-3 phone calls, get those planned, or even FaceTime, or we're doing Zooming, that can actually get your power back to not feel isolated, but also registering you've got to get well.
Being there for other people is important as well, isn't it? Sort of saying, recognising where those people who might need a phone call or a FaceTime are, and reaching out to them. How are you celebrating, Lena? Is the tinsel on until Boxing Day now?
Only Boxing Day? 2nd of January, boy. This is what I look like now.
What are you doing tomorrow to lift your spirits?
We're actually going to be cooked for. Isn't that wonderful? Being invited to friends across the road, and that's at 4 o'clock. And the rest of the day, I'm staying easy. No more rushing around. I'm going to enjoy my day and wear this on my head.
Yes, that's the one rule that you can't break. Lena Mukherjee, psychotherapist, counsellor from the Arboretum. Thank you for joining us. Very, very Merry Christmas, and speak to you soon.
Take care.
Okay, now if you or someone you know needs some extra help this Christmas, businesses and locals in Stapleford have collected extra food, and they're giving it away for free tonight. It's happening at the community centre on Pinfold Lane this evening. That's just behind the fire station. It's been organised by Stapleford Community Group, which has had more donations from supermarkets and businesses than ever before.
We collect food from supermarkets and we get it to those people that can make use of it. Saves it all going to landfill, saves it being wasted, and obviously it helps people out that may otherwise have not had as much food as we can get to them. Well, this year we're going to have more food because there's more supermarkets getting involved. We've got a lot of businesses involved as well that wouldn't have helped us in the past, and we've got more volunteers helping as well because people want to come out and help. Many of the volunteers that we have, it's the only day that they're able to help us, so they come out as well, and yeah, it's really kind of them. And we're just trying to get as much food to as many people as we can. Like I said, save it going to waste and just help people. Well, we definitely need a venue to do it from, because at the minute it's just as and when and everywhere we can. We need as many people helping us. Somewhere to do it from, more permanent. But I think the next thing that we do need to get is a better vehicle for doing it, because we're collecting food 7 days a week. We're sharing it with, at the minute, 30 groups and organisations, so there's a lot of work going on, and we're doing it all with my car. My car's, it's not going to last forever, it's a 20-year-old car, so we definitely need to get some kind of van. So if anyone knows any ideas how we can do that, then we can get more food, we can get it to more people, and we can, save more from going to waste.
Meanwhile, Nottingham City Council has donated almost £90,000 to food banks across the city to help feed people over the Christmas period. Nearly 40% of children in our city are living with food poverty. The money's gone towards feeding kids that would usually get free school meals, supermarket vouchers for families, as well as just keeping people's homes warm at the coldest time of the year. Next, a big question every Christmas: when's bin day? Dates are changing over Christmas in some areas of the county: Ashfield, Bassetlaw and Rushcliffe. All of the places, rest easy, the dates will be staying the same as normal in your area. A full list of bin collection dates for Christmas and New Year in your area is available now on the NottsTV website, nottstv.com. Next, an abandoned dog has been given a new happy life. This is Delilah, the dachshund, who was found cowering on the side of a road by a passing jogger. She had been used for breeding all of her life and then discarded. She was unable to properly walk and was dragging her legs behind her, but now, as you can see, thanks to the RSPCA Radcliffe Animal Centre, she's going to be spending her first true Christmas surrounded by love. The centre has described Delilah as the sweetest soul. Finally, for now, the heartwarming story of a Christmas destroyed and then saved all in the same week. A Worksop family had their house broken into and robbed on Tuesday morning, leaving them with no presents and feeling scared in their own home. When Marcellus Baz from St Anne's charity Switch Up heard, he was desperate to save their Christmas, so this morning he turned up at the family's house with 2 sacks of presents and a whole lot of love. The family couldn't have been more thankful. Well done, Baz. We'll be back after this with a festive musical treat. Welcome back to the show with your county at its core. Today's headlines: Christmas is a time for friends, family and good food. But tens of thousands of children in our county don't have enough to eat. Now Stapleford Community Group has collected food from businesses to give away for free. It's at the community centre on Pinfold Lane this evening.
We collect food from supermarkets and we get it to those people that can make use of it. Saves it all going to landfill, saves it being wasted, and obviously it helps people out that may otherwise have not had as much food as we can get to them. But this year we're going to have more food because there's more supermarkets getting involved. We've got a lot of businesses involved as well that wouldn't have helped us in the past, and we've got more volunteers helping as well because people want to come out and help.
You've also heard a message of thanks for the care workers who risked their lives to protect ours. The leader of the County Council has recognised their hard work in his Christmas message to Notts.
Giving residents in our care homes the best possible care and compassion, and supporting voluntary and community groups that have been a lifeline for so many. Care for the most vulnerable people is often 24 hours, and it certainly doesn't stop just because it's Christmas time. So I want to pay particular tribute to all of you who are working over the festive period for your tireless commitment and dedication.
Now tomorrow night at 9 you're going to get a glimpse into the lives of Nottingham's talented Cannae Mason family in our Real Talk TV Christmas special. The 7 musical prodigies have won prizes, performed on national TV. One of them even played at Harry and Meghan's wedding. On Real Talk TV, Roger Henry's been speaking to Mum and Dad, Kadiatu and Stuart Cannae Mason. They talk about the lack of diversity in classical music and how they always encourage their kids to embrace culture.
I think you have to be very determined and to believe in yourself. And I think we were very careful to make sure that they knew that they could do anything they wanted to do and that they were brilliant and they needed to believe that. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I mean, I had parents who always, you know, I grew up in a time when there were lots of barriers, right, and lots of stereotypes. You know, black people couldn't play football, black people couldn't play cricket, black people couldn't be bankers, and you know, my parents always, you know, showed me role models and people who had broken through those barriers, and so I was taught to believe you could do anything, and so we instilled that in our children. And I believe that every child can do anything they want to if they believe and they have the support.
And I think if you see people breaking down a barrier to anything that's considered to be not your territory, then I think it's fantastic for anything you do in life. So they looked at top sports people who've done amazing things. We used to look at Muhammad Ali, and it gave them confidence.
Viv Richards.
Yes.
The list goes on and on, doesn't it?
More top interviews and performances on Real Talk TV at 9 in the evening on Christmas Day. Now, Nottingham's Dementia Choir is hoping to help even more people living with the condition in the new year. Singing can help reduce anxiety, depression and maintain your ability to communicate. For the last few years, the choir's been putting music's power to fight dementia into action. Members get together, sing and support each other. This Christmas, they had planned a big performance with actor Vicky McClure at Lakeside in Papplewick, but it's sadly been put on hold due to COVID. Joining us now is choir leader Karen Bonser and her husband and choir member Mick Bonser. thank you both for joining us. Would you just tell me first a little bit more about the choir and what it does?
Yeah, okay, so we're a group of between 50 and 20 members in the choir, all living with different forms of dementia. And we were hoping to put on a fabulous performance on Wednesday the 22nd, but unfortunately, to keep our members safe, to keep the public safe, Vicky and I decided not to go ahead at this point in time with the new variant being about and the risks that it all involved. But it would have been one of our biggest fundraising activities of the year to keep the choir going, but unfortunately, our prime concern was our members and the public.
It's a tough decision to make that lots of organisations, lots of families, lots of businesses are having to make to call off their celebrations. Where does that leave you, and what are you hoping to do to hopefully get back some of that money in the new year?
Okay, so hopefully, with the government's guidelines, we'll continue to rehearse into the new year. We'll have a concert. We will make sure we have a concert at some point. We sold out tickets within nearly 1 day. And, we want to make sure the public get to see the choir and what they can do. They're absolutely brilliant. And they were, living for this concert this week, the Christmas concert. They'd rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. So we will put something on for them. We will do more fundraising. We've got lots of supporters out there. So fingers crossed we can get back together in January and then start practicing for a new performance.
Great, glad to hear it. I think we did just hear your dog singing in the background.
Yeah, that was Benji. Benji's the choir mascot. He always likes to be heard.
How has singing and music made a difference in your lives?
Well, you live for singing, don't you, Nick?
I love.
You love singing, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he absolutely loves singing. We might not remember what he's had for breakfast, but he can remember words to songs, sort of from about 20 years ago. I'm sorry about Benji.
Oh, it's all right. Benji's in the Christmas spirit, and I'm happy. He's getting involved in the interview.
Yeah, exactly.
and the other side of it, Karen, is that it involves so much more than the people living with dementia. It also includes their families, their friends, their loved ones, and it's a support for them too, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, the carers, they come and we're all one big happy family, and we support each other, we care for each other, and we want to make sure that they're supported as much as the people that are living with dementia, because actually, if the carers and the family units break down, then obviously the people living with dementia are not supported. So we care for as much as them as we do for the choir as well.
Why do you think singing in particular helps so much? What is it about singing and singing in a group you think that just brings people out of their shell and helps people connect with memories and helps people communicate?
There is a medical fact in terms of dementia where music is actually, it hits on every part of the brain. So if there's a part of the brain that's missing or has been affected by dementia or another disease like Alzheimer's, then music hits another part of the brain. So it's always the last thing to go. It's always the bit that remains there. It's the last piece of the jigsaw. So, there's a lot of research going on to say music is actually a very important part of a person's life for somebody who's living with dementia, and it actually is part of the medical support for them as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's really important we keep this choir going. It's really important that we get the fundraising to be able to keep it going. And we've got some brilliant advocates. We've got Vicky McClure, we've got Mark DeLissa, who's our musical director. And he'll be putting on an online choir session in between Christmas for everybody to join in on, which you can find out about on our Facebook page next week.
Brilliant. What do we look up to find you? Our Dementia Choir?
Yeah, it's www.ourdementiachoir.com.
Karen and Mick Bonser. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Merry Christmas to Benji too. He's there he is.
Yeah,
he's back.
It's I think he's seen Santa Claus outside. He must have.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Let's warm you up for the festive football with some sport headlines. Nottingham Forest's head coach is wary of the threat posed by Middlesbrough. The Reds are away in the North East on Boxing Day.
They've got a good squad. They've always had a good squad. There's no doubt about that. And at the moment they're playing good. But so are we. So we have to go there, excited about the game and be ready and prepared to do whatever it takes to get the right performance and result.
Mansfield Town's opponents will be fresh from having Christmas Day off when the Stags play Hartlepool away on Boxing Day. Despite the Pool's reasonably good form, Mansfield manager Nigel Clough is feeling positive.
A new manager has come in, just settling in, so he'll have had some time to work with the team. Certainly those aren't isolating, so it should be a very interesting one for us. I think at home we're confident, and I think we'll take on anybody at the moment, especially in the FA Cup as well. That's two next, Hartlepool and Middlesbrough, our two next home games.
Notts County have stepped up their COVID preparations ahead of their Boxing Day match at Kings Lynn Town. Head coach Ian Birchnell says players are wearing masks inside. He's also asked them to take extra care to control the situation once they leave training. Their most recent match was already postponed after positive tests at their opponents Chesterfield. Games in the National League are expected to go ahead as planned this weekend. Let's finish with some beautiful music. Tonight at 7:30, watch a special carol service from St Nick's in the city centre. Worshippers were joined by the Accord Community Choir for the service, which featured traditional Christmas tunes and modern songs like this one.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy will give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy will come?
Your Nottinghamshire photo of the day has to be Nottingham's most festive scene. Gary sent us this picture of the big bushy Christmas tree lighting up the Old Market Square. The weather, after a misty start today, it's looking like it's going to be a dry and cloudy Christmas Eve night. There'll be low temperatures of around 5 degrees Celsius. Christmas Day starts with the odd patchy bit of rain, but in the late afternoon we might see some sunny spells. It looks like Boxing Day will be more of the same, with spells of rain clearing off during the day, highs of 6 degrees, lows of 5. Well, that is all for today. We hope you have an amazing Christmas full of love, happiness and fun. Stay safe. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.